All right. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Good to see you here. Paul Tranning, and to dive into all the new stuff you need to know about in good old the design apps, mainly from Adobe Max. So I see you there, Cody Bear. Hopefully I can see and hear me loud and clear. And yeah, we'll get this party started. That sounds good to you. All right, so feel free to say hello. Hello, Steve. Awesome. All right, hello. Good
Thank you, Michelle.
morning.
I see that.
Good afternoon. Good
Comment
evening,
there, which is
everyone. Good to
fantastic.
see you here. Paul Tranning, and dive into
Hopefully everybody's
all
ready
the
and they
new
got their
stuff you
coffee.
need to know about.
Because you're gonna need it.
in good old
Just
the
kidding.
design
Sit
apps,
back,
mainly from Adobe Max.
relax.
So I see you there, Cody Bear. Hopefully
And enjoy the ride.
see and
All right. So
hear me
hello, Bryce.
loud
Good
and
to see you
clear.
here today.
And yeah,
Jan
we'll
Tiller.
get this party started. That sounds good to you. All right, so feel
Okay,
free
cool.
to say
Jan's
hello.
gonna be
Hello,
listening.
Steve.
That's
all
how
right.
fantastic.
Hello. Let's dive
Thank
into
you.
this.
I'm
gonna
Michelle.
share my
I see
screen.
that.
Good afternoon. Good
Comment
evening,
there, which is
everyone. Good to
fantastic.
see
There
you
we
here.
Like I
Paul
said,
Tranning,
we're just
dive
kind
into-
of
dive
ready to
deeper
get their
since
coffee. You're gonna
you know,
need
since
it.
I have the time, the next
Just
hour,
design
sit
apps
back
mainly
into from Adobe
mainly
Max.
Illustrator.
I see you there, Cody Bear. Hopefully
And enjoy the ride.
See and
All right. So
hear me
hello, Bryce.
loud
Good to
and
see you
clear.
here today.
And yeah,
Jan
we'll get
Tiller.
this party started. That sounds good to you. All right, so feel
Okay,
free
cool.
to say
Jan's
hello.
gonna be
Hello,
listening.
Steve.
That's
all
how
right.
fantastic.
Hello. Let's dive
Thank
into
you.
this.
I'm Michelle. I see that.
Good afternoon. Good
Comment
evening,
there, which is
everyone. Good to
fantastic.
see
There
you
we
here.
Like I
Paul
said,
Tranning,
we're just kind of
into-
dive
dive
deeper
deeper
since
since you know, since I have the time, the next hour,
design
sit back
apps
and
into
tell me if you hear
mainly
it.
Illustrator.
I see you there, Cody Bear.
And enjoy the ride.
See and
All right. So
hear me
hello, Bryce.
loud
Good to
and
see you here
clear.
today.
And,
Oh,
Jan
I'm so
Tiller,
sorry.
That's the problem. Sounds good to you. All right. So feel
Okay,
free
cool.
to- Okay, I think I got it squared away. So that's the problem. I found the issue. So sorry about that. I'm so sorry, Cody. Everything should be good now. So yeah, just give me a. You got it. Yep. It's just loopback was feeding audio. I had a browser open that had audio in it, and it was feeding into loopback, which was feeding into Wirecast, which fed into the live stream. All right, so hopefully everything's good. There we go. Perfect. Let's dive into this now. Because like I said, we had Adobe Max, and we want to talk about all the fun things, right? So talk a little bit more about this stuff later, but there's a lot of updates to, say, Photoshop, and of course Lightroom. I'm sure Terry's going to cover Lightroom. I don't want to step on his toes. He's the man. We'll get into some Sensei-powered innovation and content, as you can see here, and behind my head. I know it's a big noggin, but yeah, we have this sort of vectorized feature on the iPad. So I will switch to the iPad later, just so you know, which will be good. And we'll just enjoy ourselves. So let's just fix that crap. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So, yes. Also, again, more features in Photoshop that we talk about in digital imaging. Since this is a design live stream, we're going to focus on design, so we're going to skip that. But there was a lot going on, and we'll dive into sort of Illustrator, Enhanced 3D Panel, Substance effects, where to get substance effects. Object blend, brushes, and transform as shape on iPad. So I'll share my iPad. And of course, there's XD and Fresco editions as well. So anyways, lots of things. I have a ton of slides and all sorts of things. So anyways, I think it's kind of cool. I'll show some things on the web. So what we do have Creative Cloud Spaces, but we also have Illustrator on the web that we announced. So I'll give you like sneak peek of that and Photoshop on the web. But again, I'm going to focus on Illustrator, so this will be really fun. All right, happy Friday to everyone. So, and we did a ton of other things in terms of empowering creative careers, because you can go ahead and start monetizing your work on Behance, which is great. And then we've done some work on our combating disinformation with our content authenticity initiative, which I think is pretty cool. So that's what I've spent some time on that, and it's been a blast. So here we are in Illustrator. With some type that I'm working on. Oftentimes I'll do this, push this off to the side, and we'll get this started. We're going to work on a simple design. And want to point out that we do have this new Discover. Oh, so sorry. What is going on? Ah. There we go. Yes, that was PowerPoint. PowerPoint decides to take over your whole screen. So here I am in Illustrator. You can see right here, the Discover panel has been updated. It's like what is in Photoshop. So click right up here, right? So come in here and you can say, hey, you know what? You can find all this stuff, but you could also just find tools and help right in here. So you can say shape builder might be something I want to take a look at. And notice as I type in shape builder, off to the side, it highlights where the shape builder tool is. Okay, so this is the Discover panel. This works also in Photoshop, which I think is awesome. Right, so again, you can see how to use it. So shape builder tool, if we actually click on that, gives us the tool, another shaper tool, which is actually different just to make things really clear, and then additional help right down here, so where you can actually sort of walk through how to use the shape builder. So again, this Discover panel is brand new. I'm just making sure you guys get use out of it. I personally like the idea of, so rather than, by the way, coming up here, people will come up here and they'll type in something up here, shape. I'm gonna wait a second. Come on, buddy. I know you can do it. Give it a second. So anyways, this is the old shape builder, right? When I type that up here, like this is like honestly the old way to search. Searching up here, no. Do it right over here by hitting this magnifying glass, right? And using this Discover panel. Use that, and again, you get the idea. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Hopefully everybody's doing well. My computer needs a coffee. I need more than one. I need all the coffees. Technically, I'm kind of on my second one. Let's move those water bottles. All right, but you know what I say never give up, huh? How about that? We'll take some text. We're gonna have some fun with it. And I do kind of like starting from scratch. Let's sort through this. Sans serif, really big, bold, fat fonts, right? Like that. And let's make sure that it is all caps as well. So give me a second, drop that in. There we go. And we can start to roll through some of these different options. Oh, I love it. I'm looking for something kind of compact like this, right? So we have our lovely compact font. Whoop. Like so. Put our guy. I'm gonna make, I kind of want to have this guy kind of like climbing on this 3D text, or just like kind of overwhelmed, like he's on a journey basically. So that's what I'm doing with this guy right here, okay? It's gonna be on this journey, kind of scaling through all of this text is the idea. So we're gonna have fun with it. If that's all right, let's pick some different colors. Let's go into my fun pink. Maybe get that. There we go, like so. And let's go ahead and make this 3D. How you guys doing? Oh, Bruce, thank you so much. Biola, you're reading my mind. I just had blueberry coffee, and now I'm having pumpkin coffee. Because I'm in all the weird flavors, all the stuff. That has blown my mind. I just had a blueberry, now I'm having pumpkin. Are you in my head? What's going on? Are you actually, I don't know. Who knows? Pumpkin. All right. Scale this up. Let's have some fun, right? And thank you so much, Bruce. I've been doing some of these like really quick videos, and if you guys like them, then that's great. I like doing short ones, and then ideally doing longer live streams that go into detail about what we can do. So right in here, we'll go to 3D and materials. We still have sort of what we're calling the classic way of doing things. You can see right over here, easy enough. We want to do an extrude and bevel, and these are all new, by the way. So we'll do an extrude and bevel. Right, it's gonna open up that 3D panel, right, which is like a mini 3D program in Illustrator. Viola, are you behind the green screen? What are you... How did you get there? All right, so here we are. We have this text never, as you can see. Zoop. I just encourage you guys, like, you can play this all day long. This is like super easy to work with. Currently off axis front, right, where we can flip it. Let's do off axis right, maybe. And maybe I want to adjust this, right? We get on object controls and grab this and just rotate it like so. You get the idea. Vertical, what is it? Horizontal. I don't know, maybe do something like that. I use isometric a lot, right? So I might want them to stack up a certain way, right? Like that. That looks good. The reason we could see this better on some sides more than others. Ooh, this is cool. Is the lighting, right? So again, we'll go with isometric left. It's roughly what I want, but really we're losing the text, and that's because of the lighting. Luckily, we have materials, we have lighting. We'll click on lighting right over here, and we're going to adjust the rotation of it. So we can rotate this around. Oh, there we go. We can see it much better as we splash light sort of on the front of it, right? I like something like that. Looks pretty good. Okay. So there that is. And we'll still play with this some more, okay? Keep in mind, this is a regular effect. So if we go into our appearance panel, we could see it right here, okay? So our 3D materials. I can open up my graphic styles, and I can save this as well. So like, let's say for instance, I like this angle and yada, yada, yada. Maybe I'll do a little bit more to it. I'm gonna do one more thing to it before I actually save it as graphic style. Is right over here, we're gonna add a bevel to it. So we're gonna twirl this down, close that back up. We'll make sure we can see this. And then right over here, we're gonna turn on the bevel. And we're gonna play with step. Right? I kind of like step for whatever reason, and I like repeating it. So it's like da 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 da. Like this is just like a cool look I'm kind of into, right? Nice thing is we could always change this later on, but this was not possible in previous versions of Illustrator. The extrude and bevel is great, but a bit buggy on your computer. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So that's a good point concerning sort of your computer. As soon as you get into 3D, like, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit more intense, and it's gonna be harder on your system, right? So there's gonna be a lot more processing that takes place as opposed to Illustrator like as we know it, because we're actually playing with 3D. So yeah, you might feel it a little bit. I wanna welcome John Goodman, it's good to see you. Anakin as well, Izam and EAI Design, good to see you here, awesome. Okay, so there that is. I can go ahead and save that for my graphic styles. It may not look like much, but here it is, right? That's the graphic style that I have saved. So I can select, for instance, give, click right there, and it gives it that same, obviously that same style. In this case, I'm gonna make it isometric right. We'll adjust the lighting some more, rotating it back around. And again, we can see that popping a little bit more. Now these are separate, these two are in like separate 3D worlds, okay? So the lighting and everything is gonna be different. They're not really gonna interact with each other. But I wanna play with this phrase a couple different ways, just so you know. Let's send it to the back. Take this, see if I could sample that. Boom, that also works. So we can go ahead and use our eyedropper tool, right? With our eyedropper tool, just hit I and then click on either one of those. And sure enough, click, there it is. Now we have up set to that same style. Sorry for my ugly green screen, it's not quite. It's bothering me a little bit. All right. Okay, cool. We got it. We got it. Let's try to make something half decent. kind of where this is at. Are there good inexpensive computers? I'm gonna let other people answer that. Matthew Roberts, there's good inexpensive computers. Yes, there are PCs. I mean, honestly, I think at the end of the day, you kind of get what you pay for. But yeah, I don't know. I've been on Mac, and yeah, they're expensive, but I feel like they last forever. But again, it's all just like personal opinion and personal taste. Okay. So that's still working out just fine. Notice I can always jump in and change that color. So we'll bring this back to that pink that we have, something like that. And this is just sort of our first pass at just a new sort of design. Never give up. And the goal was to have this guy. Does this need to be larger? Maybe it needs to be larger. Pardon me. Pardon the mess. Just gonna change this a little bit. We'll go like so. Wait for it. This is where the designer in me just starts to get the best of me. We'll do that. Again, just adjusting that lighting, which is nice. We're still working on a lot of this as well. Notice how right down here, if you can read it, it does say technology preview. So we are actively working on this, but we're getting it in your hands, getting your feedback, so you can click right there. And this is the idea of sort of like a little bit more about it and also getting your feedback. So we're currently working on the objects and the lighting. Okay. How's everybody doing this fine Friday, November 5th? We are a month away from December. What do you think of that? Okay, we'll take our fun little guy right here. Drop him like so. He's really little. In fact, let's cut him and put him on a new layer. So this guy's like almost just too daunted by like, holy cow, you're telling me. So you're telling me I got to scale this huge thing. Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen. That's what he's thinking in his head. It's like, you're telling me I gotta scale this. There we are. Do something like that. There we go. All right. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. Sort of design one with some 3D. Never gonna give you up. That's right. Yeah, I'm full of cheesy phrases, if you can't tell, right? So there it is. I'm hiding the artboard. And now here's something that's kind of set up for, I don't know, possibly for Instagram. Who knows? Let's try to grab all of this, move it down. There we are, design one. Let's work on something else, right? So we're gonna do this an entirely different way. Photoshop version 22.5 will keep the 3D, find it. Yeah. Yeah, so thank you. Cool. So yes, 3D is going away. Let's save my file. In Photoshop, but you know what? It's like we have a whole 3D offering. So why are we trying to cram everything into Photoshop? There we go. Okay, speaking of other 3D apps, let's take a look at that because I've already made this. So this looks pretty good. Let's turn off this guy. Let's see if I can select all three of these. I honestly, I'm kind of curious about this. We will go right here. You want to know how to export this? And again, this is brand new. And I misspoke because you know, the engineers are actively working on this stuff, so I always don't know what, you know, I always have to double check everything. And so the short of it is I misspoke. I told somebody that you couldn't export out an OBJ, and you actually can. So thank you. Ooh, I'm reading it. Yeah, Paul, show us where to export OBJ. Thank you so much, Carol. Because this was not, like, there was an earlier build, and they were like, yeah, that's not going to happen, Paul. And they snuck it in. So they got this feature in, which is great. So again, we could do this for all three or just one. Doesn't matter. Let's just go over here. Boom, asset 1. Asset 2, asset 3. I'm going to take all three of these and then add them as asset 4. So we have these 4 assets now, okay? OBJ, it's what you're going to select here. So just like you'd export out anything else, have the file saved. We'll export it to my desktop. Actually, let's go ahead and put it in an OBJ folder so everything's nice and clean. Export it out, do your thing, right? There we are. Okay, oh, you know what? I didn't have everything selected. My bad. So again, it is currently, it's aware of everything that is selected. So now that I have everything selected, I can export it all. It will overwrite that one that's already there. That's fine. Go ahead and replace that one. And there's all of my files. Let's see if I have Substance 3D Stager available. There's also Dimension where I could bring this in there as well. All right, OBJ, Ruth, good question. So OBJ is the closest thing as you can get to just like a universal 3D format, just so you know. It's going to be the 3D object and sometimes the materials if you include them or if you have them, okay? Oh, why did I pick Stager? I love Stager, but I have to sign in under a different account, so we won't worry about that. Because the cool thing is this will work everywhere you could use 3D, okay? So let's take Dimension, for instance. You'll see it's all very straightforward from here. I'm just curious to see how it comes in. Now keep in mind, as I'm sure Cody Bear knows, Kimmy J's in the house, you could also use Dimension to create your own text. So you can do a lot of this actually directly in Dimension. But again, that's not a new feature, so let's go right over here. Let's grab this OBJ, bring it in. Looks like it doesn't bring in the... there we go. It is there, by the way. Let's move this to the ground. Boom, boom. There we are. Oh, how interesting. So that's how it brings it in, right? And again, we're still working on that. This isn't exactly how I had this all squared away, right? They were at different angles, but yeah, so that's how that turns out. And you get the idea. Zoop. Oh, shiny. This alone is kind of fun. All right, I'm gonna do a different design now, if you don't mind. And we're gonna use additional features. That. Okay, so here's a little pro tip, and this is more like a little thing you'll run into. Sometimes when you have objects selected, notice how I have this object selected, I'm gonna copy it, and sometimes it doesn't, oh, well, there it did it. You know, yeah, never mind. It's just one of those days. So sometimes it will like almost like outline the object or won't give you the effect, just duplicate the layer and don't copy and paste the object. Sometimes when you copy and paste the object, like the effects don't go with it, or it gets like outlined or something weird happens. Just duplicate the layer like I did here. Okay. All right, we're going to get rid of all these. Boom, boom, boom. And let's play with this a little bit more. So take this text. We're still going to use the 3D panel. Rather than going up to the effects menu, we could just go right over here, say, hey, you know what, go ahead and extrude. So do that for these really fast. We're going to put these in front. Boom. Extrude, front. So now we're looking directly down from the top, right? You don't really see anything because we haven't added any shadows. And maybe I could have done this as one solid object. Maybe I will. Let's take all three. Let's extrude them. Right, there they are. They're doing their thing. Front. This time we're going to add some lighting. Okay, we have the lighting, but one thing we didn't add before were the shadows. So we're going to turn this on. Turning on shadows, and you can see it's behind the object being cast down. Okay, so we still have this stacking issue, right? So really what I want to do, let's get rid of this text. And take give, put that above, put up, put that on top so it doesn't conflict. But that's what it's doing. It's basically casting those shadows down, and we start to rotate that around, right? We can start to cast it down. Now notice how it, of course, clips the shadow. We just need to adjust the shadow bounds. Zoop, stretch it out like that. And now we have sort of like those long shadows. So again, these are the long shadows. If you're wondering about the height of the light is going to be determined by the height of the shadow, or the length of the shadow is determined by the height of the light, right? So as we cast that down, we can see what it does. It gets to be really interesting when you start rendering this, right? So it's pretty good. We'll just go with that. And let's go right up here. This little flyout menu. We are going to use ray tracing, just a low quality, reduce the noise. Sure, just click render, right? And it's going to go through and render it out. So that's what's happening right now. We're going to get sort of like better shadows. The object should basically look different. We'll actually get some like bounce color, I think. So we should get some greens and some pinks and some teals all over the place. You're being followed by a long shadow. Cool. Yeah, Substance 3D Stager is awesome. We could talk about materials as well. I could show you, Bobby, where to get additional materials as we start to go into that part of this demo. And we are already 30 minutes in. All right, well, that's doing that. I'm going to jump out as soon as I can. One thing I mentioned was Illustrator on the web. So again, this is not released yet, but here we are, Illustrator on the web with a secret URL, but I'm literally like in the browser, as you can see, right? So again, this is coming soon, but this is awfully nice. We'll go ahead and click create. We'll just create a new blank document. Yeah, it's still rendering that out, and this is typical of any 3D program you use. It's like you render and then you go do something else, right? And that's what we're doing right now. We're just gonna go do something else. So your shortcut keys will work, not all of them. Well, again, we're just kicking this off, but I'm just using my shortcut keys to zoom in and out. Let's fix that shadow. There we go. And we can jump on in here. So, as you can tell, click. Copy, paste. Copy, paste. The copying is working, but not the pasting just yet. So again, we'll just duplicate this object. Jump over here, change it, you get the idea. Just showing you some of the type properties we see off to the side. Myriad Pro. Let's twirl this down. Oh yeah. Oh, I love this font. Filigree? Oh. There we go. Come on now. Again, Illustrator in the browser. Shadows aren't... Oh, Rick, I feel like you know a lot about this. Shadows aren't additive, though. Can you turn off how the shadows combine to get darker? No. Good. I see exactly what you're saying. The answer is no. Sorry, man. Good call. Look at the brain on Rick. All right. So there we go. Have it. Done. Done. Let's just click that. And again, just showing you the different type options. It's pulling all the fonts from my desktop, if you can't tell, right? And then we're going to go ahead and take that and start to roll with it. Let's kind of work on some of our drawing capabilities. Yeah, let's start with, say, for instance, a rectangle. And we can see the layer panel off to the side. I can actually add, let's do this. I like things on different layers. I could take this layers panel. These are our sub layers, moving that to the bottom. Go to my properties, just changing the color, right? As you can see right there, whatever color this would be. Yeah, heck yeah, it's gonna be pink. Deal with it, right? Is that okay? Sorry, it was a little violent there, a little much. I don't know, it's feeling very retro to me. There we go. Very retro. Okay, you got it. You guys get the idea. Yeah, this is just Illustrator in the browser, just kind of giving you a quick preview of everything it can do. Let's take that, what was once a rectangle, turn it into a circle, showing you those controls with those basic objects, right? If we wanted to do any sort of intersecting or anything, we can do that as well. Let's go out, grab a circle. You know, we'll just add some additional elements off to the sides. So like select both of these, again, shift key, and right over here, combining shapes, right? So we'll combine those. Let's take these, let's combine them as well. Boom. There we are. Now, if you notice, if I double click, so rather than using Pathfinder on the desktop, it does not get rid of any of that math. So you can see right in here, even if I just sort of throw a stroke on here, is that going to work? Maybe not. But either way, I notice how I can move this content around. It did not delete the other half of that circle. So there you go. Cool. Illustrator in the browser. We're good. Let's move on. So if you were somewhere with no internet, will the web version still run offline? I do not know. And I don't really want to disconnect from the internet, if that's okay. I could try it. I don't even know if this is going to save, to be honest with you. But from there, we can go ahead and take this, open this. Okay, cool. Open this right in the desktop if you're ever going to do that. So open Illustrator on the desktop. Typically, you got to allow for permissions for that. It will go ahead and open it up, which again is cool. All right, so let's move on, shall we? Let's take that. Let's move that over. We have this. We have our final rendering now that I'm back in Illustrator. And like I said, some of that color kind of, you can see it kind of reflecting. This is, again, some interesting things happening here, but you can see it's kind of casting that sort of same color. I could also give the light a tint. I could tint it a color, and that's going to tint everything of that color like it happens in the real world. From there, you could just go ahead and export out this as artboard 1. Why not? There we go. After we've done our render, there it is. Cool. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, Rick H, I was thinking that like, is it like Google Docs? Where Google Docs, you kind of can work a little bit offline, but I know they're going to want to verify your subscription is the thing. So anyways, we'll figure that out later on, if that's cool. So we have that done. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to take this. Actually, I might even turn this off. Let's just duplicate this layer. We are going to do a couple more things really fast, if you don't mind. Taking these, we'll turn off those shadows. And we'll turn off this rendering as well. Okay, so you want to render, of course, when you're done, but you want to turn off that ray tracing, right? And now we're in this real-time preview, okay? From here, rather than using these loud, annoying colors, let's have some fun with some textures. So we can give this an entirely new look, right, using these materials, okay? So let's actually close that. We can kind of scroll through. We can grab this obsidian, for instance. Let's click, and it will go ahead and apply that obsidian to that text, as you can see. This is technically 3D, so let's take a look at this. Let's do just an isometric look. Wait for it, wait for it. It's doing that render. Can you use the send Illustrator created object files to a 3D printer? If you get it in OBJ format, you can open that in whatever 3D program you're using for your 3D printer. But once it's in that universal, well, almost universal OBJ format, there's no reason you couldn't print it. Just so you know, it's not an STL file, but yeah. So, anyways, people. So you can see how those textures are being used. Cool, cool. Can you send it Illustrator? Yeah, so. Yeah. So I think 3D printers take STL files is the only thing I'm thinking about, Kelly. But yes, there's no reason you couldn't go ahead and print this out. So yeah. Let's do, rather than this extrude that I've been doing the whole time, you're already over it, let's try inflate. So we're going to create, give this some volume, right? So that's what I'm going to do now. Selecting inflate for this text give. We'll notice it's going to start bowing out. What's up, Tim's in the house? There it is. There's our inflate, which is so fascinating, right? There's the depth of that inflate. It's like bowing up like a big balloon. And let's just go ahead and do front. So just gonna give this some volume. There we go. We have that nice shiny text. Take this, we'll do the same thing. And I better hurry because there's more I want to kind of cover. And I could hear my laptop doing its thing. All right. Let's take this to front. Okay, there we go. This is what I was looking for. We just kind of want to be able to see that texture, if you don't mind. I agree 100%. Hope Norsh, I hope you're ready for the weekend. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Now, these don't look a whole lot like 3D, but they are, right? We'll make that large. We'll start stacking this up, but more importantly, we're going to apply some textures to them. Notice as I apply these textures, everything starts slowing down a little bit because it's actually doing that rendering. So chances are you probably will obviously want to do your design first before you start applying all these materials to your work. Okay. Oh, by the way, like you don't necessarily need to make something 3D to give it a material. Let's stretch that out. See, it's just going kind of slow. But let's move on. I want to show you guys where to get these materials. All right. Norsh, how are you doing? Who else did I miss? Andreas? Hello. Move that up. Okay. Got that. The reason I did the inflate is I wanted you to see the shininess of the material or whether it's matte. You get a kind of a better idea of the material when it's like inflated. So wait for it. We'll apply new materials. We'll grab some more text, some more materials as well. So go over here to materials. Right up here, we'll take this heavy, what does that even say? Heavy gold. What is that? Heavy Golden Dawn Clean. Sure, why not? Let's go down here to this painted wood parquet cube, right? You guys can see the obvious, right? It's like, okay, that's cool. Let's move on from here because you're like, okay, maybe you want to download new materials. Maybe you want to make your own. So this is cool. This is where we're actually seeing something interesting, right? And again, that's that painted wood parquet cube, which is pretty awesome. But if we go right down here to these little buttons, this first one, find more materials on Substance 3D assets, especially if you have the 3D tools as part of your Creative Cloud membership. But I'm going to go right here to this one, Community Created. Click right there. It's going to open up a browser. And you're going to download this certain type of file. It's an SBAR file. So here you have all these wonderful materials. Okay? You want to look for the ones that are spheres, like this Tile Stone 3D from Joe Hall. Thank you so much, Joe. I'm gonna take a couple of yours. Ooh, I love this iron. Oh, from Alexander. Oh, awesome. So cool. So these are the types of files. These ones are, gosh, I can't remember the actual file type name, but you want the SBAR files. And obviously off to the side, you can go ahead and sort as well. So I do want something kind of industrial, so we'll go to metal. And sure enough, right in here, metal plates, awesome. Boom. Right, so I'm downloading all of those. And then I can just go right over here, click this plus sign, shabam. Go to downloads. Here's all the fancy files, all the SBSAR files. So we'll take that. Actually, let's take all three of these and we'll click open. It's going to open it up in your materials. So right in here, notice I already have a ton already in here, but you can see they just started loading up right in there. Okay, we can see that cool metal. And let's apply some of those like so. Pretty straightforward. So, are they free now? Yes, those are all created by the community. Like, we don't even like own them. They're created by you guys, and we're just the distributor, basically. So, yes, those are all free. And why did that one not? So again, they're community generated. Who knows if some of them are, what's going to happen when I click on some of these. There we go. For some of these, so seeing as I clicked on this metal floor, it's like a metal floor grate kind of. Notice how it's pretty large, right? Look at those, the grading of that. We can go down to all of the various properties for this material. Oftentimes the density will make the pattern smaller. So we'll just drag that over, bring that up to 278, and we'll watch it do its thing. You can see it makes it much smaller. And as we scroll down even further, we can get into even more properties like how dirty is it? How many tiles are that? So if I take the tiles, make them smaller, right? And give it less of the little, less of the grading. That's actually what that should have done. Maybe, maybe not. Again, I just downloaded it. I'm not familiar with it, but there you have it. Okay. Same thing for this one. So do that with any one of these materials. If I decide these bricks are like okay, right? Looks pretty good, but let's take up the density and it adjusts accordingly. Okay, so you can have a lot of fun with this. And geez, I kind of want to see this in Photoshop, just to be honest with you. Everything comes in as certain resolutions. You could always change that because you might want a high resolution, especially if you're printing it out. Yeah, there's some dirt on that metal, just so you know. So yeah, let's just go with this design. Again, we can play with this all day long. All of these materials, lighting, manipulating the object. I think you guys get the idea, but let's take this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save as, and I'm just going to show you this because I feel like this is a new feature in Photoshop, but it has been in Illustrator. Gosh, I don't even remember when we first released this, but this is now a cloud document. The question is, I'm not sure how this is going to do. We're going to learn together, right? Because a lot of this is like still, you know, now public, so I could actually view some of this in the browser. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to share this file, right? I think it's still saving. Something's happening here, but I wanted to share it ultimately with you guys. So right up here, there's this lovely share button, and we can get comments and do all that fun stuff, which was what my plan was. Other things I didn't talk about, it's like, there's an automatic syncing of fonts, which is going to be huge for Illustrator. When you open up a file that doesn't have the fonts, it automatically syncs them, which is fantastic. Okay, right over here, let's go ahead and change this to anyone with the link can view this and can comment on it. Hey, why not? You could even save a copy. So I've changed those settings. I'm going to copy this link. Let's go to a browser, paste that in. I'm going to do this in Photoshop in about 90 minutes as well, showing you some of these features. But let's just see what comes up in this browser. By the way, this is it's kind of a small file. And it's 3D, so that's the thing that I'm most curious about. But I just pasted in there. It should render out. I'm going to paste that into chat real fast as well. Again, I'm not sure how long this is going to take. Like, it's a 3D file, so I think it's trying to render it in the browser. So I don't know if this is going to even happen. Boom. All right, it came through. But again, that's 3D. That's why it's a whole thing. I clicked in, or I pasted in the link in chat. Feel free to write anything here. Fantastic. I love it all. But can you change it and make it cooler? You jerk. I was like, it doesn't help me at all. You love it. You want me to change it. You want to make it cooler. Thanks for not providing specifics, Paul. But I just added that in there. Thank you so much, Bobby Orlando's. Oh, there we go, Cody. Exactly. Like, make it pop. Come on. Right? So right in here, comments. They're already rolling through. And again, this is in Illustrator. We won't give up. I love it. What is it? What's a... I don't know. There we go. By the way, you guys could get clever with this as well, because in the browser you have some of these additional settings for drawing and pinning comments as well. Oh, there we go, Carol. Where's the lens flare? Oh, so cool. Jonathan Winbush has a tutorial about this. So this is awesome. I don't have to go to my browser. I don't have to go to go anywhere, because everything kind of pops in right in here. So again, that's new. That's also in Photoshop. And I also kind of want to move on to, as I get all these notifications. I'm so sorry. Ugh. 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 Wait for it. Let's jump over to my iPad. There we go. So we'll let comments roll through. Never gonna give you up. What is making all this noise? Maybe it is my iPad. There's too many devices around here. But as you can see, I'm also on my iPad as well. Okay. So right in here, you can see vectorizing, right? Which I actually need to load up an image, but if I sketch something out on a napkin, we can go to vectorize it. So it's very much like Adobe Capture, vectorizing content. Paintbrush tool and brushes. Sorry, let me grab my pen. Okay. Paintbrush tool brushes, share for commenting, which is what we just did. So I open up that same file, we would see all of those comments and everything like that. Place linked cloud documents is something I didn't do, but you could place linked cloud documents and they will actually update as well. So again, I might do that. Let's grab this logo, let's drop it in here. And transforming shapes. Multiple shapes at once. The thing that I'm most interested in is, of course, the blend tool, right, which is off to the side. So let's kind of dive into that really fast. Create new. Yeah, I was getting all those notifications. Thank you all for joining me today. We have T. White up next, I think. Should be Terry White. I like calling him T. White. I don't know why. Yes, he's going to be talking about what's new in Lightroom, which is perfect. It's something that we planned, right? Hey, why not? There's that. We're going to do this simply. There's that. Let's get rid of this. Let's go into something more interesting, like a star. Take those two, go off to the side, sorry. There we go. I wish I could zoom in on this, but basically there is blend. I selected those two. In fact, let's jump in here. Let's just change this color really fast, right? We could do better than that, I feel. Select my two favorite colors, which is like teal and pink. Boom, boom. Down here, right under the repeats, and there's our lovely blend, okay? Double tap, right, jump in there. By the way, there's a white stroke on this as well. But you could see, I could definitely like edit this shape all I want. Let's double tap it again and adjust its spacing like that. And I get this path as well. So let's try to modify this path. There we go. And you get the idea. Blend tool for fun. Yeah, I love the rounded start. Okay, cool. You guys got that. If we take a look off to the side, let's see. With this selected, we can see down at the bottom in the properties panel. Oh, it's bothering me how you guys cannot quite see this. So I'm going to duplicate this. Shot in Wirecast. You guys probably, I don't know if you're curious about any of this stuff, but let's duplicate that shot in Wirecast. There we go. You ready? Zoom in. You can see down there at the bottom, that's where the blend is. So I can take that from 60. As you can see, I'm dragging it to the right, and we're making more and more of those lines. So more, less, you get the idea. Okay. All those options that you'd find on your desktop are right in here as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. That's it for me. See you soon. Bye.